let's chitty chitty bang bang. Do I recognize the fact that I look bananas? Absolutely. This is not news to me. We are all in this together, okay? But I felt inspired in this very moment as I'm doing my hair treatment to make a video. So here we are. Today's video, we're going to be talking about Genesis 32. Before we talk about Genesis 32, let's backtrack. For the past, 3 weeks, month or so, I've been going through a spiritual existential crisis where I have to admit that Jesus and I are not really seeing eye to eye. God and I have no problem. God the Father and I, no issue. Jesus the Son, the Holy Spirit even, I'm cool with. I feel the Holy Spirit. I feel God. But recognizing Jesus in the Trinity is tough. And I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and she has the opposite, where she recognizes Jesus as the GOAT, where she has more of a relational issue with God the Father. And when she said, I have an issue with God the Father, it did something to my brain where I was like, oh, well, I don't have an issue with God the Father. I very much have an issue with God the Son, Jesus. And my issue, once I was able to sit down with it for a little bit, I don't have a difficult time recognizing paternal or maternal figures, and recognizing what a paternal figure's role and responsibility is in my life. Based off of my understanding, description, experience of paternal love, shout out to my dad, R.I.P., I don't have a difficult time recognizing God's love for me in a paternal, fatherly sense. Jesus, on the other hand, I'm viewing as my equal. Roll with it. He's perfect. I'm not. But he's a son, I'm a daughter. So we are on the same playing field. Like if we're all working for the same corporate American job, then we are getting paid the same. God the Father is the CEO. Him and I are sales representatives. Okay? The problem, if we continue using the same analogy, is that he is the best employee on the face of the planet, let alone that job. And I just started last week, dude, and I barely remember my password to get into the computer. So I'm asking people for questions and help and assistance, and people are expecting me how to do the job, and I don't know how to do the job. And meanwhile, this man came out the womb, basically invented the job description itself, and everyone's praising him and loving him. My issue with Jesus, I recognize that he's the best coworker in the building. And I keep going up to that man saying, hey, I need help. Will you help me? The way that I am recognizing Jesus' help in the workplace, run with the analogy here. Did not think this video was going in this direction. Whenever I go up to his little cubicle and I'm like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, Jesus, I have this question. How do I interpret this file? I can't even open up the file. It's a corrupt file. I can't get into the file. It feels as though Jesus is sitting at his little cubicle and he looks up at me and he goes, why don't you just read the manual? And if you have any questions about the manual, send me an email. Send me an email and I'll respond when I respond. Do that. And so then I go, wow, I'm so stupid. Why did I even bother asking you for help? I should have just taken it into my own hands. And then I read the manual and I go through the manual, but the manual is very vague and it's not specific to my exact PDF file, my exact issue with the corrupt file. And therefore, I now have to send little Jesus a little email and say, hey, prayer, right? I am struggling. It says here in this part of the manual, this. However, how do I specifically apply it to this? And why is it that this and this can kind of make sense, but in my heart and in my soul and in my spirit, I can't find the connection, okay? I can't make it make sense. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. Okay? So I send off my little prayer, my little email, and then the way Jesus has been painted out to me, the way that the manual describes Jesus's role in the workplace, he's supposed to respond. Sometimes I do get an immediate email response and it says, hold on. I can't log into my computer, but okay. This project is due soon. I still can't read the file, but hold on. Sometimes, instead of getting an email response, he said someone else to my cubicle. But that person, 9 times out of 10, creates more issues on my computer and in my office and in my cubicle than when they had first entered. Then I'll get an email saying, keep going. You're almost there. Almost there in what? I've reread the manual like 89 times. I still can't read the file. And I'm in a worse situation than where I initially reached out to you. It's coming to a point where if I go back to the cubicle to Jesus in his face, I'm not going to be nice to him. I'm going to be like, you told me that you were going to help. Where's the help? Here's my problem. Also with Jesus, I feel like if I did do that, he would sit at his little computer and he would look at me kind of smug, kind of cheeky and go, I know you can do it. I know you figuring it out is part of the process. That way you never have to ask me this question again because you're already so wise and so experienced. Are you gaslighting me right now? I need to calm down. But are you gaslighting me right now? You could have just told me. You could have just helped me. You could have just come over. You could have just snapped your fingers and made it better. You could have given me your computer. You could have taken me out of this office and put me in an entirely different office. You could have done anything and everything possible. But no, watch me struggle. And the kicker. Let's pretend I get so frustrated with all of that and I finally do figure it out. Jesus then comes up to my cubicle, stands there and goes, say thank you. Thank you. I did all the work. I went through all the struggle. I went through all the emotional pain. You were nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be found, nowhere of assistance. And now I have to say thank you. Because you created the job description. Because you made the computer. Because you allowed me to work in the same space as you. I have to say thank you, even though it has been excruciatingly painful. I hate you. I said what I said. I said what I said. If you worked with this toxic employee, you would also hate them. That's how it feels. That's how it feels. So that sentiment has been running with me now for weeks. Excuse me. Allergies suck. But yeah, I've been running with that sentiment for a while now. And it's gotten to a point where I am questioning Jesus's divinity. I am questioning Jesus's role in the Trinity. And if I am questioning the Trinity, therefore, I am now questioning this entire book, this entire little guy. And that would make me not a Christian. And then the past year and a half of my life would mean what? Nothing? The other issue I'm having with Christianity is that Jesus is supposed to transform my heart. Me choosing Jesus is supposed to transform my heart. But when I look at who I am in February of 2025 and who I am today in June of 2026, I am still the same piece of garbage. I'm still prideful. I'm still addicted. I'm still mean. I'm still gossiping about people. I still hold resentment. I can't forgive to save my life. I hold so much contempt towards people. And I'm not saying that, oh, I became a Christian and now I'm perfect. But also, I would like to see some freaking improvement over time, and I am trying my best. I would like for you to meet me halfway. I am reading the manual all by myself in my little cubicle, and it feels like nobody is coming to assist me. It's frustrating. So I started questioning Jesus altogether. Then I opened up to Genesis 32. Genesis 32, verse 22. That night, Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. I don't know how to say that. That verse, not very relevant at the moment. All important in the Bible, but not to this conversation. After he had sent them across the stream, he sent over all his possessions. Cool. This is the verse that so Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. I don't know how familiar you are with the story in the Bible, and I'm not about to sit here and try to teach you at the 10-minute mark of this video. Anyway, so Jacob was left alone, and a man, human, a man, like me, but a boy, a man wrestled with him till daybreak. Not an angel of the Lord, not a spirit of the Lord, not a goat, not a nothing. A man, okay, follow. When the man saw that he could not overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip so that his hip was wrenched as he wrestled with the man. Fast forward, verse 28. Then the man said, your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome. Skip over to verse 30. It is because I saw God face to face and my life was spared. I don't know how to explain the synapses that were occurring in my brain when I read this. I love Jacob. I love Israel. I love this story. I've always loved this story. I've always thought about my name and how it relates to Jacob, because my name technically translates to bitter pledge or wrestling pledge or bitter pledge. Hostage is another word, bitter hostage. And I have always wrestled with God. That is a whole separate video, I am sure, for a whole separate day, I am positive. However, I've loved this story. I love that God has never been afraid of a fight. I love that he invites us to throw our punches. And I love that wrestling doesn't necessarily mean that anybody has to win. Wrestling can just be, I want to see just how powerful you are. I am okay with submission. I just want to see what I am submitting to. But I always thought it was God. I never had an issue with God. Jesus, for context, here we are in the Bible. This is where I am reading. This is the very beginning. This is the beginning of the book. This is the end of the book. We are here. Jews read this. This is the Torah, technically, to them. And I'm pretty sure it's identical. We are here. Jesus doesn't come around till at least, big boy, like here. Okay? Look at how much time. Look at how much time. Jesus is not born until here. This is thousands of years in between. But Jesus was here. Here. This is year what? 5? I don't know. I'm not smart. But run with it. If this is year 1, Genesis 1 is year 1. It's not, but it's year 1. And by the time Jesus comes around, it's year 3000. Let me not get copyright. Anyway, that means in year 32, Jesus was already here. Because that's a man. That's God in the flesh. So my coworker really isn't just my coworker. My coworker is really God. And I have to be really reverent. But I still have issue because you're not very helpful. But it does make me feel better that knowing bro was in the beginning. I mean, we know that. Genesis, in the beginning there was God. But it was Jesus and the Holy Spirit and God. God in multiple ways. Jesus being one of them. He's always been able to be a man. He didn't just become a man just to become Jesus. He was always Jesus as a man. And he would do like little cameos from time to time. But always. And he wrestled with me. And how encouraging. He's okay with me wrestling. So if I do want to be mad at him. And I'm going to be mad at him. My feelings are real. And I'm not going to stop feeling this way until you encounter me. Until you hit my freaking hip. Until you let me know that you are you. I'm still mad. I need to calm down. But, yeah. I need to go wash out this, hair treatment out of my hair now, but thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully it makes sense. Hopefully. Anyway, bye guys.